Hello, my name is Daniela, and today I will be discussing an article entitled "The Making and Health Data Standards" by Ed. To begin with, what are health data? Well, health data standards are a sort of language where various systems speak to each other through data or to exchange data. It's how information gets entered from one system to another, and the key to enhancing systems used by healthcare facilities, but small and large. We actually use data standards, even if you don't think about it that way. Think about your debit card. You can use debit card at multiple ATM machines because of the data standard embedded in those cards machines. It's everywhere. So why do we need health data standards? Well, the main reason is interoperability. We want to seek to other organizations. Interoperable definitions, names, and permissible data. These data elements are used to create document systems and applications such as HR. In this table, you see the standard. SDO is a standard of different companies and groups that work on creating data standards, which they committed to standards organization. All necessary standards must be implemented by organizations who wish to communicate electronically with other organizations. This is dated by federal law. So, implementing the labor. We at my facility have what we call the cardio workaround, and this place because this is what our department uses to dictate their reports, echocardiograms, and EEGs. It doesn't interface with the system that everyone else uses, for example, chart summary or an H&P. Therefore, when there are EKGs or EEGs that need to be legal recorded, we print those reports, scan them into our legal health record system, and assign deficiencies that way. It is not a process, but it does take time, and that time could be spent doing some improving quality somewhere else. So this article lists some requirements for creating health data standards. The requirements are a need for a standard, the realization from a business, removing barriers, as well as technical expertise. There are also many methods to create this article. The interested parties can create an ad hoc standard, which, for example, could be where your supervisor decides this is how to do a certain process. There's also government-mandated standards, which, for example, could be the change that we're going to be implementing on October 1st from ICD-9 to ICD-10. There's also marketplace competition that can introduce a standard. An EHR vendor could release the newest version of their EHR, which does not well with previous versions. Therefore, you have to use the new standard. There is a formal consensus process called the ballot speak of minutes. I found it that HL7 and SNOMED, which are used widely and are very popular, are not actual government official standards. They were implemented through a harmonization process rather than government. These are a few of the United States SDOs that you might be familiar with. Most USDOs are the American National Standards Institute, which is ANSI, a nonprofit organization that administers and coordinates military standards activities. ANSI defines the balloting process that I mentioned. Standards approved by the ANSI become national standards. Being accredited by the ANSI is but not required. So you think of this as similar to the Joint Commission. It's not required, but it is. Just like with anything else, there are issues along the way. The three that I found the most distinguished in this article: competition, the balloting process, and the increasing involvement of stakeholders. So among those, as more organizations enter the business of creating health data standards, there is increasing competition. The organizations introduce standards, the more choice there is for healthcare organizations to choose from. Which is a definite issue. The author laid definition is just there's going to be competition, and we just need to find a way of standards. Balloting process. It is a very long, tedious process, which is very interesting. Most of the ballots need to be in favor of the standard, and any negative votes need to be accompanied an explanation, and any issues uncovered in the explanation must be resolved. Once those are resolved, the balloting process takes place. So this process is happening over and over again, and new standards introduced while older standards are still in the balloting process. This leads to outdated standards being implemented. So there is an increasing involvement of stakeholders when implementing standards because the organizations need clinical experts, which could be the HIM professional, to test their standard and to define what needs to be added, what doesn't work, what triggers need to be in place, and where. This allows the creators to see what interactions need to be made and implement. And this is a lot of work for the clinical experts, which also takes away from the work they have at the facility. So how do we fix it? Well, like I said, in the United States, there will always be competition. It's true. But creating a better way and a more to implement these standards could help. The author is the best way to handle health a neutral nonprofit organization with an elected board in the private sector with the authority to manage all standards. I believe he would be suited to handle the standardization of health data standards. I do agree with the author in using the word. I think the sector is the place to do it. The author and I do agree in a clinical expert complete all testing requirements rather than each individual organization utilizing their own clinical experts. This will save and allow biased opinions to be made by the same group of people who are in multiple systems. I'm interested to hear any comments or questions that you may have and any plans that you think of as to how to better implement health. Thanks for watching. And here's the link to and I really hope you have the chance